Panthers come into week 12 after playing a perfect game against the Detroit Lions, winning 20-0. And while they're facing a team with a similar record, doesn't mean they're playing a team with a similar personnel. In today's video, I'm here to give you the keys to a Panthers victory this week. You're listening to Money in the Bank. Coming into this game, the Panthers will have to figure out how they're going to stop the NFL's best running back in Dalvin Cook. And a team that ranks in the top 5 in total rushing yards, that's going to have to be the mystery that you have to solve here in today's game. Well, here's one thing you can do, and it's one thing we all know teams do when they want to stop the run, and that's load the box up. That's simple. Linebackers are going to have to be disciplined. I think one thing that may have helped Carolina in last week's game against Detroit was that you replaced Tahir Whitehead with Jermaine Carter, a guy that we all like and love, young guy, very explosive, and seems to move more instinctively than Tahir Whitehead, who is a veteran that just seems to get washed in the trash of every run play or every play possible that has ever existed so far this season. So, with having Jermaine Carter, he's going to have to be a key piece in this game. Because when you're facing a running back such as Dalvin Cook, these are games where Luke Kuechly would step up and rise above everybody else on the field. Because he has to be the first one to get there. He has to set the tone. And obviously, Shaq Thompson is there as well. Shaq Thompson is going to help Jermaine Carter set the tone for this game. That's going to have to be the key. It's going to have to be within that linebacking group is going to have to play some of his best football that they played this year. They played their best game of the year last week against Detroit. You're going to have to see a similar game this week against Minnesota. So let's say, for example, the Panthers are able to stop the run. How do you keep going about winning this game? Because the game isn't over just because you simply stop one player. Well, they do have Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson out there on the edges, so they do have very good skill position players. And we know how our secondary matches up with just pretty much any receiving core that exists in the NFL. But here's the key. Kirk Cousins is a quarterback that, while he is talented and while he is stat-wise, he's one of the best passers in the game of football. But I think we all understand where he is amongst every NFL quarterback, and it's really middle of the pack, but he's a guy that can put up numbers. But one thing Kirk Cousins struggles with is pressure in his face. And that's the one thing the Panthers did last week against Matthew Stafford that I said they had to do. Against a quarterback of that caliber, you got to get pressure in his face. Well, it's going to have to be the same case against Kirk Cousins, a guy that struggles greatly against pressure. Apply that pressure, man. I mean, look, Carolina ranks as one of the lowest blitzing teams by percentage in the NFL. I think we're around like 20%. We have to keep upping that number. You got to start believing in the guys that you have. And again, I think having Jermaine Carter there allows you to do that. Whether you blitz him or whether you trust him enough to help in other sides of the field, that you got allow yourself to blitz Jeremy Chin possibly. I think those are going to have to be the keys to the game in this game in order to beat Minnesota. Look, load the box up and apply that pressure to Kirk Cousins. But now let's move over to the offense. With Teddy Bridgewater coming back and playing in probably what's going to be the biggest game of his career emotionally for him, I don't think he has to be the key to victory in this game. What it has to be is that you have to get a heavy dose of Mike Davis. Mike Davis did a lot for you last week with helping P.J. Walker get his first career win and his first career start. And I think it'll be a huge help. I think he'll be a huge help in this game as well. Minnesota's giving up 122 yards rushing per game. They don't stop the run very well. And against Dallas, they gave up 180 yards. So whether you do it by committee or do it by one-man band, you're going to have to establish that ground game and shorten this game up. I think, again, look, we all understand how game plans should work for Carolina. Teams don't allow us to try to get these quick scores and big play offense. They don't allow us to have big play offense for the majority of the game. We have to matriculate the ball down the field and work our way in. Well, with that being the case, that may work to our favor against a team that likes to run the ball as well as maybe more than what we do. You know, Minnesota's a team that's gonna try to pound the rock with Dalvin Cook. We have to be a team that's gonna take that ball away and force them to do what they're uncomfortable doing, and that's gonna be spreading this ball out 40 to 50 times, and possibly, maybe not 40 to 50, that was a lot, but I mean possibly forcing them to rely heavier on that passing attack and force them into mistakes. Well, here's what it comes down to. You have a team that is giving up around 270 yards passing. I believe Teddy Bridgewater can hit that number. I just don't. Matchup wise, like I said, our receiving core is fine. We don't have there isn't a secondary that I just believe that can just necessarily take these guys completely out of the game unless things start breaking down up front. Now that's where things are gonna get dicey. These are two very bad defenses. Let's be clear here. The reason why both of these teams have 4 wins because they don't play great defense. And with that being the case, look, it's gonna be protect your quarterback. Simply protect your quarterback. Allow him to have that time in the pocket in order to start stretching the field. And I think one thing that Teddy Bridgewater should have seen from PJ Walker last week is that when the deep shot is there, take it. Don't hesitate. Go. I think he's going to have to show teams that, look, I'm gonna do more than just keep this ball right here in this space where you guys can start jumping the routes, pressing up, and taking away a lot of what I'm comfortable doing. He's going to have to take a couple shots early, loosen the defense up, make them respect the fact that you'll take that shot and continuously do it throughout the course of the game. That's going to be the best way for Carolina to open this offense up and keep it flowing throughout the course of this game. Now, let's get into the final score predictions. So, for the final score, I'm thinking a Minnesota victory 27-24. Mainly because I don't know, can we generate the stops on third down? This is the offense that's more loaded than the team we played last week, and obviously we should understand the team we played last week was not a great group as we saw against Houston this past Thursday. And with that being the case, it's just that can this defense carry that momentum into another week? And I haven't seen them be able to do it for most of the season. So, unless the defense comes up and has a miraculous performance, I say the Panthers lose this one 27-24. Just can't get off the field enough. Just can't get a stop or two here and there. Or you can't take advantage if you do get the stop. And that's all I got. But you guys be sure to subscribe to Gym Dropper Sports, where all the money in the banks will be housed. Follow us at P1N_network on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm out.